Zach, before I start the show, I just want to take a moment to thank Factor Meals for sponsoring this episode. I will tell you, they are our longest sponsor, and for a good reason, because their meals are so good and they are such a huge part of my life when it comes to feeding myself and my family good, nutritious, dietitian-approved meals, and they help me keep my weight in check. You've asked me how I've lost weight. It's eating better, and Factor Meals help me do that. I'll tell you a little bit more about them later, but first, there's something to what you think about, you bring about.
It's everything. It's the number one most important thing is your mindset. You're never going to win if you feel like a loser.
Right.
Like so much so that you can't even believe the news I'm about to share with you, and I haven't told anybody this yet.
Breaking news. Okay, I'm having a hot girl summer, and I don't mean physically. I mean, I'm not getting in a bathing suit. It is hot outside, y'all. And our guest is even hotter. I'm telling you. Now, she is hot physically, and she's over 50, so possibly having a hot flash. Anyway, we have an amazing show today. My guest was a star of The Real Housewives of New York. Oh my gosh, I was such a big fan. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But that's not really why I wanted to talk to her today, because she's really what I call a baller shot caller kind of businesswoman. She has 13 patents, multiple million-dollar companies. She's helped Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez launch their fashion brands. And now she has become a certified health coach, and her brand is called Beyond Fresh. Y'all, this woman even has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, and I have been waiting for years to talk to this Real Housewives of New York. Welcome, baller shot caller.
Heather Thomson.
Holla! I'm so happy to be here with you.
I didn't want, you know what? I was going to say holla, but I thought, no, I can't do that because then they'll know.
Yeah, then they'll know. I gave it right away. I mean, you got to love it or hate it, but that's a part of, definitely part of me. I love it because it was always just such an encouraging, feel-good thing. And it came from an encouraging, feel-good time of my life. So I'm always going to be, Heather, holla back, Heather.
Oh my God. Holla back, Heather. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to call you.
Yeah. Some of the Real Housewives fans, HBH. I'm going to give you that one exclusively because some of the Real Housewives fans call me Holla Heather. And I love it. It's just so funny and it's fun to do. And who knew when I said it that it was going to become what it has become, but I embrace it completely. And I'm so happy to be here with you, my fashion sister.
Don't you feel like we should already know each other, Heather?
Well, that happens, with TV personalities, and it's really the truth. You do, and especially with what we do. You share your life on television. You're talking about your life and you're telling stories while you're talking about why you created what you created. And the same thing I did in fashion in my years on shopping television, but also as a reality, TV personality. You open the door into your life. And so when people tell me that they feel like they know me, I'm like, well, you kind of do. And I embrace that. Yes.
Well, let's just start off the bat because I have a lot to ask, and you're just going to have to entertain all my questions because it's years worth of building up. You've been in business a long time, but I think really when you stepped into the reality world, the dog eat dog reality, I say that in air quotes, world of Real Housewives of New York. It was truly, I will tell you at that point, I mean, I watched it because it's so ratchet. Right. I watched it because it's like a car wreck. You cannot look away. You have to watch. But when you came on the scene of New York, I, for once, could really relate. Mm-hmm. You were the most relatable housewife. I think Bethany was too. Don't get me wrong. But for me, as a married entrepreneur, had children, that type of, I could relate to you the most. How in the world, and can I just say, you fit but didn't fit?
Yes, it's really good. It's a really good way to describe it.
Okay.
I love that. Exactly.
Explain to me what I'm saying.
Yes. Well, I always said I didn't fit in. I really didn't fit in, which is what worked for me. Because I wasn't and I don't like to stereotype anybody, but there is obviously kind of stereotypical housewives that had come before me. The drama, people that worry about who didn't invite who to whose birthday party or whatever. And I just never got caught up in that type of drama. some of the girls, whether they believe it or not, they would turn up the volume for the show. I stayed very true, and God bless them, because they became.
I mean, that's what is
iconic
expected,
housewives.
right? Yeah.
Then there were people like me, and some of them really did fall to the wayside and didn't become, a powerful cast member on the show because they didn't fit in. For some reason, it worked for me. I guess I had enough chutzpah for the dynamic to work.
You're
where
ballsy.
I would say what
You're
I meant.
ballsy.
Yes, yeah. Right. I had to, coming up how I came up in the world, and I was in a man's world, and I never felt like, I was woman and they were man. And as an older woman, I see all the challenges, the barriers that were in front of me compared to the men that I was working with at the time. And so I came with, a little bit of a baller attitude, as you say. And I came out of a world that required that of me. And it served me really well in that world. But then I started to peel that away and said, that's not really who I want to be. It served me at one point, but it doesn't serve me anymore. Now I want to have a softer side and show a softer side. And that's really a piece of me that was growing as a 40-year-old, on the show, to now as a 55-year-old, which that piece is really important. And I bring that now into the new businesses that I create and manage. The way I manage and the people that I work with are the most important piece to it.
Yeah, there comes a time in every woman's life where, especially us scrappy kind of gals, we're scrappy, where you have that warrior spirit. I wouldn't say hustle, because I don't think you're a hustler. I don't think you have that mentality. You really are a methodical. I can just tell by even watching you on Real Housewives and watching your career and knowing all about you. You're methodical, but the scrappiness is now the calling. The settling in to what is next for you. And
letting it be, I think coming out of our worlds, like the sky was always falling, working for I worked for the best in the business, all the triple threats in Hollywood, I was able, and musicians, actors, musicians, really talented people.
Okay. Did you really start P. Diddy's apparel line?
I sure did.
Girl, what are you thinking about all this craziness going on now?
Well, I'm very happy to see the outcome, of the trial today. I mean, we happen to be recording this on the day after he was acquitted for some of the charges. You're the first person actually I've spoken to about it publicly at all, because a lot of people wanted to know what I knew. And it's like, that's a very ridiculous question. I worked for Puff many, many years ago. The man that I know and the man that I believe to be is in there. And, I think Hollywood and power can do a lot to a person. Absolute power, correct, absolutely. And, I think that there's some addictions involved in these things. And I think that he's gotten a second chance, and I'm gunning for him to do something really great with it.
Well, you know what? You say that because when you say power and money in Hollywood, and that isn't business, in my opinion. Right. I'd love your take on that. Business is different. And I'm not saying business is not dog eat dog. It is. But my daddy used to always say this to me. My dad said, babe, you'll always be successful in business because of your personal life. Mm-hmm. And I see that. I see that in you. I see that in other women and men who really have a solid foundation, and they come up that way. Do you agree with that? Do you think that has helped you in your life?
I believe in that completely. And I also believe the rules of the game have changed. Thank God. I mean, at 55 years old, the world of corporate America that I came up in and the things that I endured, my daughter at 18 years old would never, ever endure. It's a totally different playing field for her. And I'm so happy about that. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel most of the men that I came up with, and I am an advocate for both men and women. I believe in both of us, and we need all of us. And together
we need each other.
There is, right? But there was a time where things in business, women had to endure. And, I think that that time is lifted, and some of it was a lot of fun, I have to say. I don't want to get all dried up and too, within the bumpers of what's right and what's wrong. I think we all know what's right and what's wrong. And I think a work environment that is a safe environment that you can have fun in and you can mess around and not be afraid you're going to be called to human resources on one hand, but also feel safe in your environment that you don't have to endure, any type of abuse or inappropriate behavior in the workplace. Those are important places. And I believe that gets twisted in workplaces from the top down that are led by people that allow that type of environment to exist.
That's it. The buck stops with the leader. It's summertime, y'all. And that means soaking in the sun, hitting the pool, and showing off some skin. Well, for some of us, it's showing off some skin. And Factor meals are my weight loss secret. And it keeps me feeling good and looking great all summer long and keeping my belly full too, because it's good. I love Factor, and you will too. My BFF Amy is obsessed with Factor, and my husband and kids are always eating my Factor meals because they're chef crafted, dietitian approved, and are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. You don't have to think about it. You just pop it in the microwave, heat it for 2 minutes, and you're ready to go. They're so easy. They arrive fresh and ready to eat right to your door. Choose from nutritious gourmet options like Calorie Smart. They've got a Protein Plus, a Keto, which is what I love and live by, and so much more. And all their foods taste so yummy and taste fresh. They have these pork chops, y'all. Let me tell you something. Being a Southern woman, I know a good pork chop. I'm obsessed with them. So get started at factormeals.com/Kim50 off and use code Kim50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Kim50 off at factormeals.com/Kim50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. Factormeals.com/Kim50 off. And let's make this summer a summer to remember with Factor. You're going to love it. I want to shift gears a little bit because being a woman in business has been both an advantage and it's been a stressor. And I want to see how you handled this because as a mom, women wear many hats is what I'm saying. We're moms, we're wives, we're daughters, we're helpmates. We carry a heavy, heavy mental load. We're CEOs, we're worker bees. We're all the things. How have you managed that coming up through your business life? And at 55, what do you say to women who are just getting started? There's a lot of entrepreneurship booming in the 50s.
That's right.
For women.
I think the most important word of advice I would say is be true to who you are. I, like you said, am a million miles an hour. The title I would give myself is overachiever, which is a terrible title on one level.
A.
Yes, and that can really get in your way on some levels. In other levels, it makes you the one to hit the finish line first, the one to have the success first, because I do believe hard work pays off. I do believe you put in what you get out is what you put in. But I also believe there's different types of personalities, and sometimes the slow and steady wins the race. So I say to really stay true to what your personality is and who you truly are and the things that truly make your heart sing. And be around the people like-minded that are like you that do that as well. It's an uphill battle, life. So I like to do as much flattening of the road as I can for myself. And that involves really listening to your heart and listening as a woman to your intuition. Our instinct, our intuition is one of the best gifts we have as females. And the men, they don't get it. Now they have other gifts and other things that are wonderful. But that is something that a woman has that men don't have. We have that third innate sensibility, that voice. And guess what it usually is doing? It's usually caring for somebody else. It's caring for a situation. That innate intuitiveness oftentimes will be warning us, protect yourself. Remember, cover your oxygen, your mouth first with the oxygen. But it's usually a track and pattern that is moving into helping other people. That is what a woman is. A woman is nurturing. A woman is caring. A woman wants to see everybody working well together. That's in our nature. And so that's a positive in the workplace. And I might do it in a way like, now I want everybody to be happy here. What's making you unhappy? And there might be another person that subtly says, Susie, come into my office. I've been wanting to talk to you this week. And both are right, by the way. Not one is wrong, but listening intuitively too, and knowing who sits next to you, knowing a little bit about their background, whether it's your boss or whether it's just a coworker. You have to know who you're working with. All those things matter within the work environment. So I don't believe in that, don't bring your home to work, because everybody does. We spend so much of
yes.
You can't help it. Managing those emotions. That's a different thing. Managing those emotions and what you bring to work, that's a different thing. But we are, especially with today's environment, we're working all the time. And, the bigger question is, how do you cut that off? And when do you separate self from work? I run into the problem when it's only work. If there's someplace you'd rather be, it becomes your life. That's a good thing, as long as it doesn't control your life and you still picnic and water ski and do things like that.
Well, and you're speaking from this soulful place. Were you always that way? And never, when did that become the main, lighthouse moment for you?
Through trauma.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think, that's always.
Good old trauma. Good old trauma. We've all got it. Yep.
Isn't that always the way that you uncover, you dig deep, you see clarity, and like I said, life is an uphill battle. It really is. But that is life, and you should embrace the challenges and not always look at it as, oh, woe is me. Life's always got me down. It's always hard on me. That's kind of an immature way of looking at life. But if you start to look at life, because if we only look at the negative, that's what we see. But I really like to look at the little wins. Like when I was going to be late for an appointment and all of a sudden the road opened up and somehow I was 5 minutes early. Like, that's a big win for me. But we never praise that, but we always praise the moment we're stuck. We always about the moment, pardon my French, when we're stuck behind the slow guy. We're so quickly to kvetch and complain, but we're not as equally enough ready to praise and thank and be grateful. So gratitude is really my attitude, and that is a new way of life for me.
Are you spiritual?
Yes.
Are you faith-filled?
Yes. Definitely.
Tell me a little bit about that, because just listening to you, I'm just such a strong person of faith.
Yes.
And that has been my guidepost and my lamppost throughout my whole the lamp into my feet, my whole entire life. What is that? Because I can just tell by the way you're talking, girl.
Yeah.
That
mine's really, my spirituality is very cosmic based and universally based. I believe and I love to read and talk about all different religions.
But tell me your experience.
Yeah. So my experience was I grew up with a Protestant dad and a Catholic mom. I was raised Protestant. I knew about Catholicism, but my mother didn't want to raise us Catholic because she didn't want me to fear God. She didn't like that part of the Catholic Church, putting the fear of God into her children. So she liked Protestant. She thought it was a little bit more laid back and that she could teach us spirituality. And I do think it's a very important way to speak and teach spirituality within the home is to talk about religion. And so that's how I grew up, and I had a wonderful experience within my church. When I grew up and I got older, I lost my connection with the church, but I never lost my connection with God, with spirituality, with the universe. And that became more and more the beacon of my light, was the universal message in all of the religions. Like they all have a lot of universal messages. In fact, many religions who fight with each other pray to the same deities. They pray to the same people. You know what I mean? And it's so funny to me. So, because religion does cause a lot of problems, obviously, in history. So I like to really hang my hat on one of spirituality that's universally cosmic. And my love for faith really came out in my mountain climbing. You've heard a lot of mountaineers talk about that is my church. And truly the outdoors and high altitude and the struggle that goes with those climbs became my church. And I liked to suffer. I enjoyed the suffering on the side of those mountains. And it was through trauma that I needed to do that somehow. And it was there I found, again, my connection with God. I found my connection with the universe. And now I follow people like Thich Nhat Hanh and Ram Dass and really philosophically spiritual people who believe in the connection of you and me as humans as much as they believe in our connection with the plant and the blades of grass and the trees outdoors and the birds. And none of us could exist without the other. And so that is my universal spirituality. And so all things matter to me.
Yeah. And I can tell, Heather, I just love talking to you and hearing you talk, actually. Everybody goes through trauma, right? Like pain is pain. I truly believe that. Pain is pain. And
yeah.
Can you speak to some of the things that you've personally gone through that someone listening might be ministered to or can relate to with your trauma? Because I agree with you 1,000%. I have learned more from the losses than I ever did from the wins. So, trauma is something that truly is universal. We all experience it.
We all are going to have our, time where we hit the mat. And it's never about how you go down. It's always about how you get up. Because we're all going to hit the mat. How do you get up from life's challenges and life's knockouts? And it's faith. It's faith in the fact that everything is the way it is supposed to be. And you have to embrace what they say, embrace the suck. What that really means, right? Yeah. Is you have to embrace the bad as much as you embrace the good, because there's lessons in it. And if you are spiritual and you believe in the cosmic universe, you're meant to go through. I call this Earth University. It's not something I coined. It's something I learned. But Earth University, you're here to go through these hardships and lessons. Yes. And when you hit the mat, you better, my encouragement to everybody is you better get up proud from the fall, from the scraped knees and the scars. That is life's lessons for you to move on in your evolution as a soul, as a human being. And it makes zero sense to someone who has lost a child, right? Or the devastation of the loss of a loved one in this earth. It's so final, or why is there sick children? Like what God would make children sick? But if you look at it in a way almost like Buddha would look at it, in the spirituality of the chaos of the world is the purpose of this life on earth. And I have to sit here in peace with it all, because my path is my path and other people's path are other people's path. And maybe that death of that soul was to elevate another soul. And so I like to always look at the balance.
How is this trickle over or influence this new business venture that you're starting in the wellness category?
Great question.
Now I'm just saying, like, you're a certified health coach now. And I think at 55, I'm 54. I'll be 54 in a month. I have never thought about wellness and longevity and health like I have before when I hit my 50s. I would be like, what? Health? What? Yeah. So did that influence this Beyond Fresh, new business?
Two things. So you asked about the trauma. So the easiest trauma to explain is one that a lot of people are aware of. And that was Jax. My little baby was born very ill and he almost didn't survive. And so I look at mothers who actually lost their children and I can't even fathom it. And I came pretty damn close. So that trauma, and then, other traumas in life, struggles and barriers that you have to go over. But that was a trauma. And now you ask about Beyond Fresh. So one of my traumas also was my fashion company, Yummy. I did not sell that company because I wanted to sell that company. I sell that company because, yes. And it was so good. It still actually exists today in the very small form it exists from the previous owner. From the current owner, because of the foundation we built. Because what we said we were going to do, we did.
You did.
And the customer could believe in us. And it was encouraging. And I still believe in that. As women, we need to encourage each other and be encouraging. So the trauma was a few things, and that's one of them that people can identify to. And then the reality of this switch of perspective is there's only two ways to go in life. It's either down or it's up, right? And like nobody ever stays this. So that's the choice, is either you're going to take it and you're going to absorb it and you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life, or you're going to take it and you're going to absorb it and you're going to overcome it and you're going to make you someone better in this life. And that will serve someone else that you come across from in this life. And so you can't let life beat you, because it's there to try.
I got to tell you, I talk to so many women that are saying, wanting something better, right? And I get this, Zach, I bet we get 2 or 3 emails a week about this. How do I make it better? How do we make it better?
The hardest thing in the world to do for most people, self-love. That is the best cure-all, the best healing is stop the chatter in your head that's negative and the self-talk and the bad self-talk and start to encourage yourself that these are life's challenges and you're making it through the challenge. And again, change that perspective is, oh, life always beats me up. No, life beats everybody up.
Change the narrative.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, other people have it tougher than other people, all that, but stop the comparisons. This is your journey. It's your life and it's your responsibility, right? You are your responsibility first. So we have to lean into self. And what you mentioned is now you're thinking about wellness more than ever at your age, right? Because the body has a way of making you do the things or listen to the things you need. We have a lot of longevity in our 20s and 30s. The human body is an unbelievable system.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle. But as we age, we have to start to pay attention to the ways we deplete it. And it doesn't have the stamina that it used to rebuild. The mitochondria, the cells get sluggish. Why does the skin sag? Because of elastin. It's not being produced anymore. So those are things in life that we have to start to look at as we age, both men and women. And we need to listen to our bodies because it's telling you how to survive. The human body wants to live.
Yeah. It's made to live and live well. Mitochondria, I keep seeing that everywhere. Can you speak? I did not understand from a medical perspective how that is the be all and end all for our cells. Is it not? Like I don't know anything, girl. So don't act like I know what I'm doing, Zach. Don't laugh because I don't know nothing. I need Heather to tell. All I know, it's been a buzzword out in social media and I've been really kind of lightly researching it.
So mitochondria, the easiest way to describe them is they're your energy cells. They help you have your energy. And they also, just like your skin cells, they die and reproduce. And as we get older, our mitochondria can get sluggish and they kind of just bump into each other and they don't die off. Or when they do die off, our bodies are not really exfoliating them. And so they're staying in the system and they're what's clogging the pathways for the clean, fresh, healthy mitochondria. So we do that. We deplete our mitochondria when we don't get enough sleep, when we eat processed food and we tax our body. So things like vitamin B, magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin D, these are really important supplements for women as we age. Like they're almost like, I know you care about your skin. It's very easy for women to talk about skincare, right? We all know like the 3 markers for really serious skincare. You have to be on a retinol, you have to be a retin A, you've got to be on a vitamin C, you've got to be on a moisturizer. Same thing with your vitamins and your supplements. Vitamin B, vitamin D, magnesium, hugely important for women at our age because that helps the mitochondria. And there are all kinds of supplements out there that will help. If you don't have low energy, your mitochondria are good. Not everybody has the same wrinkles. Our DNA is different. We age differently. We have to watch our aging and we have to listen to the signs of aging and how do we get out in front of it. If I have a lot of low energy as a 55-year-old, I'm going to share with my daughter as she ages to watch energy, watch your vitamin B, watch certain peptides that you have in your life because I now know, right? But there's another thing I've learned I want to share with you because it's important. We can't teach our youth all of our tricks of the trade. They have to learn themselves. I've learned that. I wanted to shield my children from everything with all the knowledge, not like, don't fall down and scrape your knee or make the mistake. But I wanted to share all the knowledge I had so that they had all these big gold stars going into life. Like, I have that one. I know how to read that one. It's baloney. The youth, like young people need their ego. We at our age, we can start to check our egos at the door and start to understand the ego. The youth needs the ego to survive. So I can't get into ego talk with my kids yet. So there are stages in life. And if we listen to the stages in life and we read now, we have so much available to us. And if it makes sense, or if you take it and you don't feel any difference, it's not what you need. If you take it and you can tell there's a difference. Like if I go out with my supplements for a while, like I'm like, God, I really need my supplements.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
Yeah. And if you don't feel it, you don't know the difference, listen to yourself. Like I don't feel it.
How much for you is it a mental perspective? I mean, like, there's something to what you think about, you bring about. It's what you focus on manifest. So like what part, how has that served you in your life? Because I've actually been my own focus group with this. Yeah. And I put a little recorder in my pocket and I recorded the way I talk. And I did not realize how much what comes out of my mouth is garbage about myself, about my environment. Yes. And so then I was like, let me just change. And I thought I'm a very positive person. I mean, I thought I was a very positive person, which positivity, whatever. I'm a realist.
Yes.
But how much of that has affected, you think, you in business and in life in general? Like that mental perspective? It's
everything. I believe it is like it's the number one most important thing is your mindset. In every way, shape, or form. You're never going to win if you feel like a loser. You're never, ever going to win if you beat yourself up like that. Even if you do cross the finish line first, maybe once it'll last and you still won't enjoy it, but you're never going to get there again. Like it's just not true. The mental energy that it takes people to overcome, to create, to be super at life, you know what I mean? And we all are, some days we're really super at life and other days we're not. It has to do with mental capacity. And I will promise you this, there's going to be days, there's no way you're going to make yourself feel better. And what I say about days like that, wallow in it. Allow yourself the disappointment.
Amen.
Allow yourself the time to reflect and be down. You hit the mat, stay down for a minute. Because if you allow yourself, you need to cry, you need to let it out. You need to release.
Be still.
Yeah, let it go. Don't ignore it. Don't shove it under the carpet. It's going to become an abscess. You need to let it go and realize. And if you give yourself that grace, guess what, Kimmy, you're not going to stay on that mat long. You're going to get up and you're going to brush yourself off and you're going to be like, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and I'm always hungry. After 50, I've noticed that about myself. I'm always hungry.
Yeah.
No, you're so right though. You said something that I love this because, there's a lot of women listening to this that are over 50 and your mom opened this restaurant later in life and you've always described her as fearless. Did she inspire you? Like, is she that person that was your shero?
Like so much so that you can't even believe the news I'm about to share with you. And I haven't told anybody this yet.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. I just opened an inn, a 12-room inn with a restaurant and a music venue in this barn that was built in the 1700s. Yes, it's in Egremont. It's in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. It was a very spontaneous thing. Although my partner Doug and I had been dreaming about it for some time. It didn't come to us in the package that we expected it to come into. But when we switched our perspective for just a minute, it was exactly what we wanted. And it's a wellness package. So what I wanted to first do was open a wellness facility in the Berkshires and one that was approachable. We have beautiful Miraval and beautiful Canyon Ranch up here, but that's tough for locals to go and enjoy and pop off a sauna with their buddy, So I wanted something that was local for the community. What I wound up doing is there was a music venue in the community that had been open for 7 years. And it was way back in the day, also a music venue, and it closed. And the town was so grateful for it reopening. And we really love it. It ran into some hard times with the previous owners and it had closed for a year and the community was really mourning it. Oh. And so I didn't expect wellness. You're like, wait a minute. But what I decided is music is the foundation of wellness. It's the rhythm of life. It's the heartbeat of inspiration. And so if I took it out of the package and said, well, it's a bar and restaurant. Sometimes some of the best wellness is a hootenanny night with your girlfriends, letting your hair down and rocking out to some Zeppelin cover band or something.
Or a tribute band to Bon Jovi. a Bon Jovi tribute band or Journey. Okay. Like I'm in for that, sis. Yes, that is wellness.
And sometimes doing that is enjoying delicious fruit mocktails and being out socially with your friends. I want to create the environment that everything goes and you can come and be who you need to be and be who you want to be. And we create that environment for people. So that is a lot to do about mindset and perspective. I could have been stubborn in my mindset of like, no, that's not what it is. And I would have missed the opportunity completely.
Oh, that's so fresh.
Yes.
That's such a fresh way to look at wellness, y'all.
It literally just opened. We literally just opened it. We closed on the property in April. I got shot out of a cannon. For 10 weeks, I've been putting in 17-hour days.
You love it. You love it. I love those kind of times.
I love it. I feel like it's a runway show. You know what I mean? And I got to make it because everyone's there watching.
But don't you think that's women?
Yes.
We love it. It's like women, we love to figure the thing out. You never go to dad to solve a problem. You never, no one ever goes, Dad, what do I do? No one ever does that. That was my mom. I need this, Mom. But isn't it true? So you're saying think out of the box. Think out of the box.
And you know, I'm a fish out of water, but guess what? I've never opened an inn. I've never opened a music venue and a bar. But I grew up in the restaurant business and I know service and widgets are widgets at the end of the day. So mom does come through on this one. And my business experience and my accoutrement of business experience is all leading right into here because at the end of the day, widgets are widgets and customer service is customer service and stellar customer service is all I ever want. So
it's very rare to find.
And like you and I do, we also provide community to our base and the people who are with us and the people that are watching you on the airways. It's more than just clothing. And that's a really special gift that you have. And I love to embrace as much as I possibly can.
You know, my philosophy in business and in life in general is we're in the people business, not the product business. Yes, that is my mantra. That is what all the employees that we have, all the vendors and the people that I work with, because at the end of the day, people are buying you.
Right.
They're buying me. They're buying you. You can buy anything, anywhere.
Sure, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's such a blessing. How do you see being able to create and put art, products, experience into the world? Because you led with this, you're so grateful.
Yes, it's the greatest gift I have. I literally could look, if I had to pray to God right now, I would say to him or her, thank you. You have given me truly everything I've ever asked you for. It may not have come in the packages that I expected it. It may have come with a kick in the pants. But when I sit back and look at my life, everything that I dreamed of, I have manifested and I have had the support of the universe. It's something as simple as a little girl, I always wanted a boy first and a girl second. And I wanted my girl to be a brunette because I grew up blonde. It was like little silly things like that. Guess what? That's what I have. I wanted my daughter to look more like my husband and my son to look more like me. That's what I have. These are childhood dreams. And I say something very simple as that. Because when you then peel back the book of your life, we have so much to be grateful for. The manifestation that really happens, not with your daughter's hair color necessarily, but that's an easy example to say if you really wish for something and you really work hard at it, you can get what you wish for. Sometimes without a whole lot of hard work and sometimes with a lot of sweat and tears. But the earth will give you what you put into it. I believe it. And thank you, God. Amen.
Yes, thank you, God. And thank you, Heather, because I will say this, at the end of the day, at 54, it's really simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seems, I was like, oh my God, I'm struggling and stressed. And I'm just like, oh God, it's so simple.
Right. But we have to
be that cheesy.
But it's the truth because you know why? You made it to the other side. What a blessing.
Amen.
What a blessing that you're 54 and I'm 55 and we're sitting here alive on this beautiful planet Earth talking to each other. How many of your friends and loved ones aren't here that didn't get to make it this far?
And we are getting to start new things. That's what I want women over 50 any age really, but specifically for us women who are maybe empty nesters. I have an 18-year-old too. So I have an 18-year-old, 16-year-old, and it's such a blessing. But I have a little bit more free time. I have a little bit more experience to start these great adventures in life. And you are definitely a adventure and thrill seeker for sure. Yeah. When is it over? Is it ever over? Like talk to the women out there saying, I could never do that. I could never, start something new or do something different.
Yes, believe in yourself and let your heart carry you. If you're kind of thinking about something and your life is pretty good and you're like, I think I want to do it, like forget it. You have to want it with everything you think about all the time. You gotta wait thinking about it, go to bed thinking about it, talk to your friends about it, keep dropping the idea. If you're talking about something like that and it's out of your warehouse and nothing you've ever tried before, I say run to that, don't walk. Get after it right away and don't stop. If you're having it home, like maybe I'll do something and maybe I won't do something, then ask yourself the question and don't answer it. What is it I want? What is it I truly want? Because that is a question. That's right. And we lie to ourselves all the time about the answer. We constantly, because a lot of times we answer what we think people will be impressed by, or what we think our mothers want us to do, or our husbands want us to do, or our children's want us to be. And we're not really true to ourselves. And there's other times where the truth is scary. And so we push it under the carpet and we shove it. And then guess what happens? Years go by and regret builds and bitterness happens. And then you become a curmudgeoning old person. Well,
Oh my gosh, you just read my mail. No, I'm serious. It's so true. It's so true, isn't it?
We don't have to be that person.
You do not have to be the curmudgeony old person.
It's never too late. It's never too late. Look what I just did. I just opened a whole new business. And so I had a friend of mine say to me, why would you do that? That's so much work. And I'm like, because it's fun. What else am I going to do? Crawl under a rock and die? Like you said, I have a lot of freedom. I'm in phase 3, baby. You know what I'm saying? I got one more quarter left of this life and I'm going to make it count. You know what I mean? I'm in phase 3. And so, my 50s, until 75 and then 75 to 100, God willing, I hope, when does it end? When I flatline, baby. That's when it ends. And then it only just flatline. Exactly. No, but then guess what? It only begins again because my soul gets to go on its journey home. And then I get to go back up and they say, well, you did pretty good at this, Heather. Yeah, business career, you were pretty good. Oh, there's a few things in relationships we could work on. Get back down to Earth University and do it over again.
I love it. Okay, so before we go, I do rapid fire questions. I don't know about you, but my favorite thing is nonsensical, crazy, random stuff about people. I think that is the fun part of life. Yes. So I'm just going to ask you rapid fire questions, and I don't have to worry about this. What comes up, comes out. So whatever you just say, there's not a bad answer. Just say it. Okay, here we go.
You got it.
Rapid fire questions.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, I don't have a lot of patience. So slow people, like people who mosey through things, like mosey in New York City. I'm like, I gotta get by in the airport. Yeah, mosiers. My friend Carol Bradswell has tried to teach me to be a mosier. I really stink at it. And so it's kind of annoying when people are mosey. She's a mosier.
And can I just say this, Heather? Everybody in my life basically is a mosier. And I guess God is trying to teach me patience. Because
that's a Southern thing. You're in the South, Kim. That's full of mosiers. God. That's, you got to get to New York.
Get to the point. Okay, here we go.
It's your territory.
If there was a new yoga pose named after you, what would it be called?
Holla. What would it look like? We have to put our arms out or something and our legs out all at the same time.
Oh, that actually felt good. I think you should create it.
Yes, okay. Nice and stretchy.
What's one thing you wish you did more often?
Worked out. Got myself sweaty. I know.
Do you really wish you did that more? I mean, is that real?
It's real because of the mental benefits you get from it. And I've run the New York Marathon. I've hiked mountains. I'm an athlete. I love to work out. And it's just at this stage of my life, my Pilates is my, I don't like literally, I will not miss Pilates for any, I mean, like literally Obama could call me and I'd be like, sorry, I have Pilates. I go to my Pilates class. I don't let anything interrupt it. It's what I do. But you don't sweat in Pilates, and I love Pilates, but I wish I could sweat to the oldies a little bit more or do something workouty. I'm missing that right now in my life.
Oh, I wish that was mine. Okay, here we go. What is your dream guest at your new inn? Who would be your dream guest?
Oh God, it would be a handful of musicians. And so I guess I'm going to just take it home and I'd say Beyonce because she's my girl.
Okay.
And I would love to show her what I did. You know what I mean? And I would love to be like, look, I have a music venue. What the heck? Even Jennifer Lopez, even Puff. I would like to show them all that I now have a music venue. They're, creative director, fashion designer. Yeah, I think those. And then any other famous, like John Bon Jovi can come around. Bruce Springsteen. Robert Plant should come visit. I want John Toffer to come just so he can be like, you did everything perfect here. He's the bar rescue guy.
He's the connoisseur of that. So let me ask, is Jennifer Lopez's butt real, and is it as good as it looks on camera?
100%. It is definitely real. That is 100% DNA. And I've, seen Jen and Beyonce both naked. They both have beautiful bodies. They're beautiful women. And watch their bodies grow. Jen was young. When we worked together, we were like in our 30s. You know what I mean? So they've done both a beautiful job keeping themselves up.
And look, I don't care if it's real or not. I don't give a rip if it's real or not. It looks good. So I'm also after 50. Yeah, I'm saying do what you got to do.
Yeah, hey, listen.
Okay.
But like you do have to celebrate, the real trend. Like, if a good butt is trending, you got to give the real one its due.
Start with authentic. Okay. What is the most underrated food in the world, in your opinion?
Ooh, you're going to hate my answer.
Oh my gosh. Is it something healthy?
Yes.
Okay.
It's tofu. And the reason why I say that is because tofu takes on the flavor of anything you cook with it. So you can make, I knew you were going to hate my answer.
I don't want to be that rude. I don't want to be that rude.
They think it's gross. And I'm not vegetarian. I do eat meat. But I do think
my husband's a vegetarian.
Yeah, I do think that some of the vegetarian alternatives in food are underrated because they are quite delicious. And so
they're judged harshly.
Yes, they're judged harshly.
No,
exactly.
Tofu is good. I actually, I don't know if it's the most underrated. It's very good. I like tofu.
Underrated for me.
I'm going to stand behind that.
Yeah.
I think what else is underrated? Like, I love
that.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that is a brilliant answer.
I'm taking tofu.
Because, I've had tofu and didn't always have tofu. So you're right.
Yeah.
It is underrated.
So you can use it as a meat alternative a lot more than you think you can, or for a protein source, I should say, more than you think you can. And I would encourage women of our age to get more protein.
I'm going to get totally just Real Housewife ratchet on you. Who is your favorite housewives of all time? In any franchise, but New York in particularly.
Well, I have to say my friends, you know what I mean? Like I loved being on the show with Carol and Aviva. I think we made a really good trio on the team. So I love both of their roles that they played during those seasons with me. You know what I mean? I think that those were really important. I would probably say of the iconic ones, funny enough, this is the way I felt about Luann de Lesseps when I first saw the show.
I love Luann.
Me too. I felt like I could relate to Lou. So I would have to say out of like the iconic housewives of our franchise, Luann is my favorite.
Luann and I did a lot of Steve Harvey together and we broke bread several times and she is a hot mess. She is a hot mess in the best way.
Exactly. And
I'll never forget this story, Heather.
It's true to who Luann is. That's my favorite.
That is who she is. We were having dinner in this big Chicago. We both were being on Steve Harvey. So we said, let's meet for dinner in the hotel restaurant.
I was on the show a lot too. I remember when you were on his show.
I know. I'm like, we have been circling the bin each other. Yeah. And I had a reality show, Kim of Queens, and of course she was on Real Housewives. And so the place was packed, right? And so everybody was staring at the table. I will never forget this. I laughed so hard. I love Lou. And I thought, well, they're going to come up. Everybody knows Luann, because I had just had one season of a little reality TV show. And it was men and women. And they come over, they're like, Kim Gravel. And Lou goes, what's going on?
Yeah, she was not like that.
She was blown away. I was blown away.
That's
because they were just a little soccer. They were there for some kind of soccer tournament. So they all watch Lifetime. But Lou goes, oh my God, it was just great. She's so real. She's so genuine. No,
it's like she'd almost go ready to sign the autograph and then be like, what?
Oh, she was. It was fantastic. And we laughed till we peed. Okay, who's your least favorite? Who's the villain?
Well, that's such an easy answer for me is Ramona.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
That's surprising?
Is she a brick short of a load?
Oh, yeah. She's tough.
Okay. She's tough. She seems to be a little
really, the honest truth
not self-aware. Not self-aware.
No, not at all. And doesn't care. There's one thing.
You gotta respect that, though.
Yeah, I do. I do have to respect that. But I don't have to be around it. You know what I mean? So and that's really where I left it with her, because
But you know what though, Heather? She probably appreciates that. I mean, she probably is, you know what I'm saying?
She's definitely unaware. If I ran into her at a party, she might just, say hi to me or not. I don't know. I would personally avoid her. I really would. And I can't say that about anybody. I really can't. Because it was after my first 3 seasons on the show, that was one thing. When I returned to the show many years afterward, and Ramona was really off camera, just a not a nice person, a terrible person. And I think that life is so hard, like I say, the uphill battle, that she can be that, and she can be nice to the people she wants to be nice to and mean to the people she wants to be mean to. That is her prerogative, and I won't judge it. To your point, I'll give credit where credit's due. At least she's consistent, but I don't have to be around it. And so that makes her my least favorite housewife, because I wouldn't say that about any of the other women.
Well, and you know what? What I love about you is you are what you are, Heather. And you always have been. There's never been an inconsistency in who you are and the character and the integrity you bring to the game of business.
Thank you.
Whatever genre you're in. I have just some really two last little petty questions, because I
love
this sauce. Your favorite junk food. And when I say that, if you throw kale chips dipped in chocolate, I want down and dirty, psycho, could possibly kill you if consumed in large amounts food.
Those are easy for me. It's pizza, ice cream. I love ice cream a lot. I love pizza. You're not gonna like this, but one of my favorite flavors is vanilla, but it has to be vanilla bean, delicious, creamy vanilla ice cream. But I like the ones that are all mixed together too, like the chocolate brownie chunk,
Moose tracks.
All that stuff. Coffee. I love coffee ice cream.
Oh, coffee.
There's a brand, I'm going to forget the name out of it right now, but they're out of Santa Barbara, and it's my favorite ice cream brand. And I can't think of the name. O'Connell's. I was going to ask my husband.
O'Connell's is so good.
I've never had it.
Oh, Kimmy.
Right.
Okay. Is it creamy? Or is it tell me, is it, I'm a texture eater.
It's me too. It's the perfect amount of cream where it's not too creamy, where it's it dissipates on your tongue, and the flavors that they use are so delicious. And theirs is my favorite vanilla ice cream. I swear to God, O'Connell's ice cream nursed one of my dear friend Brian's dad, Gary, who I grew up with. He was, they took him off of life. He was on a feeding tube. They took him off of the feeding tube. I went in there and fed him McConnell's ice cream, vanilla ice cream. He wouldn't stop eating it. He went back. He's out of the hospital. I swear to God, it saved his life.
Yeah, because he started eating. He started eating.
He started eating again. That ice cream. It'll save your life. It won't kill you. It'll save your life. And they make the best ice cream. Pizza is, I think, the most perfect food on the planet.
It really is. But it's not really that junky.
Well, it could be 1,000 calories a slice, God forbid. I mean, and more. A big slice.
I get thin crust. I get thin crust.
Me too. And I like sourdough crust. I do take pizzas. You can make pizza healthier. You definitely can. There's even a vegan pizza that I love. It's called the Vegetazzoni. It's by this company up here called Baba Louie's. And it's a bunch of vegetables like broccoli and onions and mushrooms. And they put it on red sauce and they cover it with like Daya cheese, which is good. And that's a dairy alternative. Yeah, it's a great pizza. I love that. And you do it on like a spelt crust. That's a really healthy pizza, and it still is delicious. It's still like that idea of folding it in half and eating it in one yum. I love pizza.
And I want, seriously, just purely for looks. I don't want to know their heart. I don't want to know what you think about their acting or what they do in life. Who is your celebrity crush? Like just raw, real, he's hot, she's hot. That's all I want to know.
It comes from my childhood. It's Brad Pitt. He'll always be the hottest man in Hollywood.
He's still hot.
I love him. I think his heart and soul are pure and delicious. I love Brad Pitt.
Have you ever met him?
He's my favorite. I've never met Brad, but I've come close and I would love to meet him. But a girlfriend of mine, Nancy's a publicist, and she's worked with him a lot and speaks so highly of him. Like he truly is the package that you see. He's the good guy that you believe he is. He is. That's what I hear.
Joe Black changed my life.
Yeah, he's
not because
amazing.
of the content of the movie, just because of the way he looked in that movie.
Thelma and Louise changed my life. And
I think it changed a lot of our lives. Okay, I've got something controversial just because it's in the zeitgeist of the world. And if you could say something today to Sean P. Diddy Combs, what would it be? What would your Heather advice be?
It would definitely be, I love you. And you can do better, and I know you're better. And I'm going to watch you do better, and I believe in you.
Yep.
That's what I would say to him.
I love that. That's who you are.
Yep.
You can follow Heather on Instagram and Facebook at I Am Heather T. Her wellness podcast is called Health, Harmony, and Heather. Go stay in her new inn. What's it called again, Heather?
Yes. It's called the Button Ball. Isn't that so funny? So it's Button Ball, hilarious. Barn and Inn. Okay. Isn't that fun? Yes, isn't it fun? Because we didn't want the lane right next to us is called Button Ball Lane. A button ball tree is actually a sycamore tree, right? Yes. Which is really fun. The meaning of that is rooting, community, like loyalty, like there's all the tradition, there's all these things. Like if you chat GPT, a button ball tree, what it stands for. And we were like, this is perfect. It was my friend, my partner, Doug. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I love it. Because it's
and I love the alliteration.
Yes, exactly. So it was previously the Egremont, because that's the town it's in, the Egremont Village Inn and Barn, the Egremont Barn, but we have changed it to Button Ball, Barn and Inn, and you better come see me.
I'm going to come see you, girl. I'm going to come up to the Berkshires.
I love it.
I've always wanted to be up to the
Berkshires. Name on it.
Honey, I am so bougie. Okay, Heather, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and everybody for listening. I love you all back.
Heather, you are just solid. I love you. I just loved you on the show. I'm so glad we are connected. Zach Miller is the executive producer of The Kim Gravel Show. His production company is Uncommon Audio. Our producer is Kathleen Grant, the brunette exec. Production help from Emily Breeden and Sarah Noto. Our cover art is designed by Sanaz Huber at Mammarian Creative. Our show is edited by Mike Kligerman. Our guest intros are performed by Roxy Reese. Our guest booking is done by Central Talent Booking. Our ads are furnished by True Native Media. And y'all, I want to give a big, huge thank you to the entire team at QVC Plus. And a special thank you to our audience for making this community so strong. If you are still listening, then you must have liked a few episodes along the way. So tell somebody about it. Tell somebody about this show and join our mailing list at thekimgravelshow.com. I cannot do this show without you, and so I thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. I hope you gained a little bit of encouragement, light, and love from watching and listening to The Kim Gravel Show. I love y'all so much. Until next time, bye y'all.